Welcome to the Business Information Buffet Podcast, also known as the BIB Podcast, where everybody eats, brought to you by the College of Southern Nevada Small Business Entrepreneurship Development, powered by MV Grow. Are you ready to eat? Because this is where everybody eats. Welcome to the Business Information Buffet Podcast, also known as the BIB Podcast, where everybody eats, powered by MV Grow at the College of Southern Nevada. We are your hosts, Sean, Torrey, and Cordon Allen, the Don himself, back for season 4. What's up, sir?
Let's go!
We back out. We made it back. We survived.
We did. We made it.
This is post-pandemic. We survived. We survived. How you doing, good bro?
I'm good. How are you?
Man, I'm blessed, man. I just can't thank it enough, bro. It's almost time. This is my last year of the doc program, so
Nice.
the gray hairs ain't for nothing. That's what I say. Thank you so much, man. But I wanted these two folks today. I think we talked about them last season. Mm-hmm. I was like, no, I had to make sure we were right before we brought them up in here.
Had to make it special.
Make it special. And one of the first things we wanted y'all to be the first episode for season 4. So today's episode in particular is called Something New with Some New Marketing.
What?
You know what I'm saying? That's what today's episode is called. With our special guests, they are excited to discuss the importance of God, family, business, and community wealth through marketing, right? So our first lovely guest to my left, your right, my left, Miss Tiara Flynn, who is a mother of 2, an Air Force veteran, a business advisor, speaker, and small business owner who has dedicated all her adult life to serving others. She was born and raised here in Las Vegas, born and raised here, right here in the 702. Her mission is to educate, support, and advocate for the families throughout the entire spectrum of reproduction. Ultimately, the goal is to put the power of their healthcare back into their hands for better understanding of their care, rights, opportunities, and potential outcomes. And then the gentleman to her left, your right, her left, is her father, Mr. Shaundell Newsome, who's the founder, the visionary of Sumnu Marketing, which is a 3-time, not one, not what?
2.
Not what?
3.
Oh, it's his 3-time SBA Nevada Award winner, Small Business Champion of the Year, Family-Owned Business of the Year, and Entrepreneurial Spirit of the Year.
Wow. That's a lot of other years.
Of the years. Like of the year. What Kendra said? Not that one, not that one. 1, 2, 3 plus 5. Okay? You feel me? Mr. Newsome is recently served as a co-chair for the Las Vegas Super Bowl Host Committee, Community Affairs Subcommittee for the Super Bowl 58, and a chairman of the Urban Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. He currently serves on the Vegas Chamber of Commerce Trustees Board and as a co-chair for the Small Business for America's Future, a national advocacy nonprofit that deal in policy for small business owners. He is married to Las Vegas native Miss Arlene Newsome. Together, they've raised 8 children. 8 children.
8.
He is dedicated to Christian who actively participates in his community. He believes in developing new leaders for the future. And that's a fact. Everyone in this room, he developed.
Man.
It's a fact. It is a fact. Ladies, gentlemen, non-binary, everyone in the building, the something to the new into the something, the father and daughter business dynamic duo, Tiara Flynn and Shaundell Newsome.
Welcome.
Never got an introduction.
Right?
It's
like the Uncle Shannon intro.
Wow.
Hey, listen, take this clip, take that audio, put it on everything.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
just
nice.
when you get introduced, please, don't introduce me. Let me use this clip.
Use that clip.
Use that clip.
No, that was incredible.
Just use the clip real
that
quick.
was on
Thank
point.
y'all so much.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for coming to the show. How y'all feeling?
Thank you. Blessed.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Man, y'all look
That's my word.
I know where you got it. I'll let you have it. No trademark.
Man, you know, it's y'all are the first parents to child father to daughter do what we've had on the show.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
So like that's why when we wanted y'all to be on the show, not only did we want y'all to be episode 1 for the new season, we wanted y'all to know y'all number 1 in every way.
Yeah.
So like there's always intentionality for
Absolutely.
what we do.
I love it.
I like it. Yeah.
But before we do, there's a thing, Cordon. It's the fit check.
Yeah, we gotta do. Well, we're gonna start with a fit check today. Today I have on the best shirt ever in the world. This is Cozy Studios, my brand, Cozy Studios. Catch me, Cozy Studios _ on Instagram, Cozy Studios Apparel on Facebook, and CozyStudios.com. Go shop. We're live. Donna Karen undershirt, and these are my Silver Surfers. What you got on today?
So these are my Nike Sun Club shoes right here. I particularly wore these on purpose because they have the orange Nike swoosh. Now, with orange, that's everything about Sumnu.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
right.
When I met Shaundell, it was in an orange blazer.
Orange. The first time I ever met Shaundell, you were wearing an orange suit.
He was wearing an orange suit.
I do remember that.
I looked in my closet specifically and said, I'm wearing these.
Yeah.
Like, I made sure to wear these, and then I have on this. This isn't the Urban Chamber green, but I got the Hunter green on.
Yep.
To represent the Urban Chamber for all the stuff that y'all do.
Love
So
it.
I wanted to make sure I represented for y'all today. That's the
Yes.
fit check.
Nice.
That's the fit check for us. And I see y'all, she got the written.
I did not know there was going to be a fit check. I'm like,
listen.
make sure.
No, you can't
I got
fly.
you. I got
Still,
you.
hey,
You
y'all
can't
still
fly.
fresh.
You know,
for
y'all.
Sure.
You know, he got the coach shoes on. Those
Yes, sir.
She got the Chuck Taylors with the ribs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And this shirt right here is designed by Frankie Moore, Creative Flow.
Creative Flow.
Oh,
Her
nice.
shirt. Yeah, I
love
told her I wanted something powerful for voting, and she got me John Lewis. where
Rest
I'm
in
at.
peace to John Lewis. Rest in
Yeah.
peace.
Good trouble.
So man, thank you. So we always do that at the beginning of the show.
Oh,
do the
nice.
fit checks.
Right
You know
on.
what I'm saying? And we're gonna speaking of like how we come and how we dress and how we perform, we talk about the blueprint. This is the first segment of the show. So the blueprint is really how did you got the layout? Because there's multiple blueprints to the business, right?
Oh.
And then until you got to the final blueprint. This is how the foundations start, right?
Wow.
So please, we gave the introduction, but I think it doesn't always do justice from hearing it from the source. So please tell us, what was the blueprint for Sumnu marketing? Because now you started it, the visionary, but your daughter, you passed it on
Yeah.
to Tiara, who
Right.
runs it phenomenally.
Right. So
The word phenomenal.
I think the biggest thing is like you have to have a foundation that you can pass on. Right. So many times I watch businesses in Vegas where they've collapsed after their kids have gotten the business. And it's part because they didn't build a foundation, or the child did not understand what it was we were trying to accomplish. And typically it goes beyond making money. Right? If you build a legacy, for example, with Sumnu, what people don't realize is we started out as Newsome Marketing Enterprises,
Okay.
2006. When my father passed away, I told you guys about my dad. My dad is our hero, right? He's a Black Panther, Vietnam veteran. I mean, Black enthusiast, Black historian. Like everything was about your name and how you position your name. So Newsome, he said, I want you guys, if things are not going right in our family, I want you to flip it and do something new. So Newsome is Sumnu. Flip. Sumnu is Newsome flipped around.
I love that.
And so when we made the transition, we rebranded Newsome Marketing from Newsome Marketing Enterprises to Sumnu Marketing. We did a launch and everything.
Right after the recession.
Right after the recession.
Yeah. So he started Newsome Marketing, focusing on small businesses because he's been in marketing for, I feel like I've been saying 30 years for 30 years, but a long time.
Long time since I was 14.
And right after the Great Recession, I was in the Air Force at the time. I was going to get out because I was stationed home, didn't want to be here, blah, blah, blah. And I joined the company when we were, like he said, flipping it into Sumnu. And we built that on the foundation of the 12 steps of marketing. So
Yeah, and everything comes out of challenge, right? I always say, Dr. King said the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands in times of challenge and controversy. 2009 was our huge challenge. It was the recession. We lost 60% of our business. My father passed away. So we all looked at each other. I think Tiara was in Africa at the time, came back, and then we started thinking about what are we going to do with this business. And we never thought about closing. We thought about what are we going to do with this business.
Exactly.
We never think about closing.
We never think about closing.
That's beautiful.
So that's why we said do something new. She came in, my son Thomas, who you know, he came in, chief marketing officer, my niece Carla. We just came together as a family and preserved the legacy.
So not only just Tiara, but I do know Thomas. Thomas, for those who don't know, Thomas Glover, that's my guy. I've known him since I was, oh my God. It's 19 years now. I met him when I was 15, 15 years old. But he was one of those guys that I looked up to because I didn't have the confidence in myself to create something and just go and have the strength to step into a world. So he was on marketing before I understood what it was, right? And I see where he gets it from. And right? From y'all, right? So you had Thomas. It was really a family order. So everyone understood the foundation, right?
Everyone understood it. Yeah.
Okay.
And we were a part of rebuilding. So like Shaundell was saying earlier, you have to be a part of it and engaged in it for it to keep going. You can't just hand your kids something.
Right.
Like everybody thinks, right? Everybody's always making assumptions like, oh, you're just here because your dad. I'm like, he makes us work.
No, that's true. Because, I'm fast forwarding a little bit because y'all, so some new marketing, it's 15 years old now. I remember because I graduated in 2018. 18 officially. So 18.
18.
So 2007-ish. Okay,
Yes,
cool.
yes.
Because 09, that was my senior, like 08, 09 was my senior year in high school.
Yeah.
And I went off to UNR, right? And I remember the Great Recession and I felt it as an 18-year-old, right? Yeah. Like, because, Nevada's not like most states where in California, you graduate, there's resources there for you.
Right.
You get a check for this, you get a check for that, you get a check for this.
Yep.
You 18 out here in Nevada, you on your own, buddy. Or you better be tapped in. If not, you on your own. So why, let's talk about that, because with your foundation, everyone knew. So everyone knew something new. But why is there a misperception on families when it comes to passing on business and they're not ready? Or that it tanks, because Sumnu did not tank. It's still flourishing. I had the chance to work with both y'all, many stuff that we've done.
Right.
But directly, me and you, Tiara, we did the Yes program that this gentleman was part of, which is why Cozy Studios is on the table today.
Absolutely.
Proud of you.
Thank you.
But she's a man. It was great working with you because the whole team, between me and Sarah, we'll tell you, we're used to doing things on our own. Like
Same.
Me and Sarah, when I was full-time here, we would do events, we did this. And there was nights me and Sarah were here just getting it done.
Right.
But to work with y'all, it felt like a shoulder lift off.
Yeah.
Because it was like finally folks who work just as hard as us.
Just as hard.
And we don't got to pick up the pieces. Everyone did their piece.
Yep.
Yeah. What goes back to what you said, and they notice, anybody who is going to be a part of something have to outwork us. They got to outwork me.
Right.
If you got to outwork me, I'm up early, I stay up late. And a lot of times, kids think, a lot of people do assume that my kids have it easy or my grandkids that come in have it easy. And they'll be the first to tell you, he ain't making it easy. And it's by design. I think that when it comes to me as the male figure in the family, I have to make sure that we know how to work.
Right.
Because I think what has happened many years is we tried to make it super easy. Right. They earned everything they got, clothes on their back. When they came in, they had to invest in the business. I'm not handing you anything, because I think that's really not fair. Yeah. To hand kids. And so what I've seen, especially here in Vegas, is people hand somebody a business and it collapsed. Right. Because you haven't given them, you haven't made them work for it. So there's no skin in the game either. Gotta be skin in the game.
And some of it is what you mentioned in the intro. There was 8 of us. Yeah. So you got to work for everything. You got to work to get in the shower first. You want that TV remote, you know, for the youngins that don't know. We only had one TV. You got to work to get the phone first. We had to work. So even when I called them from basic training when I was in there, when I first got in the Air Force, jokingly, but I was serious. I was already in routine mode. When you get to basic training, they're trying to break that and build that in you. And I was like, I'm good. I grew up in a house of 8 kids. I know I got to get in the shower 2 minutes, be out, things like that. So a a lot of it came from our childhood too.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So those are the things that still set, because I do know the grandkids do work for the company.
Well, they get a little easy. You know?
They get a little easy.
They be flipping off man the couch and everything. Remember the living room you couldn't go in? They go in there, okay?
Look at the couch.
Exactly.
So what would be what would be the one word to symbolize what's kept the blueprint together?
Faith.
Faith.
Ooh,
Faith.
Yeah.
that's powerful.
Yeah.
So
Faith is like,
Faith,
for
sure.
we believe in God and his power.
Yeah.
And we know that God is like always moving things, right? We trust. We got 2 scriptures. Well, we have technically 3. But my father's scripture that he wrote in his Bible before he passed away was Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Right? Trust in the Lord with all thy heart and lean not to thine own understanding. That's the part, that's the entrepreneur part. Lean not to thine understanding and always acknowledge him, So when it comes to God, he's always present. And then my mom's is Philippians 4 and 13. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. So God gives us strength and we can do everything. Anything possible in the world, we can make it happen. Whether it's opening a business for doula services, doing a clothing line like Thomas did, doing landscaping like my other son does, whatever you set in your mind to do, God's got you.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we believe hard. We got praying Helen Newsome.
We do. Yeah.
She's viral, huh?
Yeah. She is. Yeah.
No, so thank you. That's the first segment of the show, which is the blueprint. I always love to hear
Definitely
how the foundation. And this crazy part, I knew because we've had those conversations. Like, if y'all want to know what it means to work with Shaundell, it's one of the best things ever. But you have to have that will, because to catch this man, you better be up early,
man, before the sun come up.
No, literally, because we're on Zoom call. I mean, we like when we were building Yes, and we're gonna get to that later. When we were building Yes program, that took a week or 2. It didn't take long because he already had the foundation.
I was saying it already existed.
It already existed, right? We just tweaked certain things.
Yes, yeah.
All right, this is how we're gonna run it. Boom, boom, boom. We
Yeah.
had to do the structural part, and boom, it took off.
Yep.
Right, but many people are not willing to wake up at 5:30 to catch this man at a 6:30 meeting. Because if you don't catch him virtually, you can catch him down at Grits. But people are not
Those are
willing.
the only 2 options.
Only 2 options. Seriously.
Yeah.
But he's willing to break bread with people. I remember someone came on our show and was like, "How do I get with Shaundell?" I was like, "Catch him in the morning."
That's the only time.
That's the only time. That's the best time.
After about 8,
yeah, it's a wrap.
you
He
working.
But man, because we got some marketing questions for y'all that we're gonna spin.
But I tell you one thing
go
about
ahead.
the foundation is that you got to appreciate. I told Tiara this the other day. I appreciate the fact that she was willing to step on that foundation and elevate it because I'm okay with you taking the recipe and adding something to it for the next generation.
Right.
And I think that's the other thing is like, you can't be so stuck on, well, I did it this way. This the old school way. I used to print papers by hand. You can't get set that way.
Right.
Allowing the creativity and the innovation to take a life of its own.
Yeah, because that's where the zone came from. So
The Sumnu Solution Zone came from
Sumnu.
that. Yeah.
Okay. See, that's the best part because y'all do various different types of marketing within Sumnu.
Yes.
So like we're gonna expound on that after this new segment, which is business on the fly. And I'm gonna pass it to Cordon. It's his.
Yeah. So business on the fly. We're gonna ask you some either or questions, and then each of you will answer, and then just explain why.
Oh,
so the first question is social media marketing or word of mouth?
Either or. I
Dang,
would say word of mouth because that is actually the same thing. I think that word of mouth social media is just the tool
Exactly.
that spurns word of mouth. So I don't think it's an either or. I mean, to be honest, I think I
change the game.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm not changing the game. I'm just explaining the game, right?
Yeah.
So there are different tools. Social media is the new tool. Print back in the day was a tool. Advertising, radio. Everybody got excited when we got television. I think everybody's excited with social media.
Yeah.
The only difference is the irresponsibility of communications, right? People think they're communicating when actually they're not, because communication requires a receiver and a a giver where there's mutual understanding.
Right.
And sometimes people are just talking.
Exactly.
And they're noise. And so that's the only thing is it's a tool that, people can be irresponsible with, and they have no accountability.
Right. For whatever get behind those screens and feel invincible.
Right. So I think it's like that.
I'm going to go with word of mouth also.
Yeah.
I think social media, like you said, is a tool that can assist, but also we know that things can be heavily filtered. We know that things can be edited. I love social media.
Right.
I don't want to sound like an elder millennial, but I'm going to go word of mouth for sure. For sure.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Word of mouth. Yeah. So then I think we're going to, I'm really going to expound on this on the next segment, but mentoring youth or adults?
Youth, 1,000%. Youth, 1,000%. Because not only are they like, you're able to catch them, I guess, early in their journey,
right? But
also they bring that youthful energy and creativity, and they're not already like, I guess, for lack of a better term, like scorned. I feel like when we work with adults and when we work with established businesses, they're like, oh, I tried that. It takes us a long time to convince them.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though they came and hired us, right, as Sumnu. But when we work with youth, they're like, do you know that there's a way that you could be doing this a little bit better? Like they introduce us to new tools, new ways to communicate. Like it's such a collaborative thing.
I was about to say, so it's more collaborative.
It's very much, it's a lot more collaborative. So I like working with youth a lot. And they make me feel young.
It's definitely youth. It's easier to build children or youth than to repair broken men.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that is profound from a standpoint that I was a child when a deacon in my church taught me how to build a business, taught me how to invest, taught me how to manage things in life. So I think that it's easier because of that, because we would be open to a lot. And typically when people are broken, you got to sift through all these spider webs of emotions and issues and trauma. You got to cut through all that. But normally youth come innocent, ready to learn, a blank canvas, if you will.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
See, that's why I love that. Okay. Yeah. So then the next question, I know you got the last one, right? So next one, big corporate or small business marketing?
I want people to come with the big corporate budget. But small business all day. Small business all day. I mean, it's another one. Well, first of all, small businesses are running on what Shaundell was saying earlier, like purpose, and they're not money driven.
Yeah.
And so it's very personal for them. They're very passionate about their product and their business and their services. And so, again, they're pouring their heart and soul into it. So it's a little bit better of a process. Like you're like, we're not rushing. We're really massaging this. We're really, they want us to be a part of the foundational aspects. And they don't get defensive when we introduce new things. Like if we're trying to do something new, they feel a little bit easier to navigate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll say it this way, is like small business, because of the small businesses are actually the backbone of this country. It's just that the corporations have been the ones who've been able to tell their story better and really say, hey, we are the ones that help run things. But let's be honest, right? 99.2% of the businesses in the state of Nevada are small businesses. We employ 42% of the workforce in the state of Nevada. Most people don't know that, right? And then one of the reasons why even the urban chambers, when we talked about building businesses to build our community, we discovered a long time ago that there are not many Black business employers. There are 26,000 Black-owned businesses in the state of Nevada. Only 820 have 2 or more employees. So the impact that small businesses make are greater than when you talk about the Teslas and you talk about the Amazons. And the other thing that people don't realize is right now, currently, we're at the highest peak of small business growth. 16 million small businesses have applied for applications for business around the country. That is the highest it's ever been because small businesses are the ones that bring back the economy. net new jobs are created by small businesses.
Exactly.
Right. No, if people don't realize this, these other big corporations, the Amazons of the world, no shade on them, but they hire and then they fire. We hire and people stay with us for 5, 7, 10 years. And we actually employ people for a longer period of time. Yeah. And the final thing I'll tell you why I love small businesses, because we don't get to hide behind a corporate veil. We walk into that room and we can hear when somebody's divorced, when somebody needs childcare, when somebody needs health care, when somebody had a death in their family. We are really, really in to the lives of our employees.
He just dropped 3 reels in one.
Man.
Make sure you got that. Yeah. He dropped 3 reels in one. Oh, that
3 of them.
3 of them. That's beautiful.
So I know you kind of answered something similar in one of the earlier questions, was mentoring youth or adults. But what about working with younger entrepreneurs versus seasoned entrepreneurs?
Oh, entrepreneurs. I didn't say employees.
Yeah, no.
No, I'm just kidding.
I guess you can say employees too.
That one's tough though. I mean, I think I'm still going to lean towards youth, just from all the things that I was saying earlier. Like it's a fresh, new perspective. They're a lot more energized to change the world. They haven't been disappointed much yet. And like Shaundell said, sort of like a blank canvas. So I think I'm still going to go youth, but I've had a lot of, for me as an entrepreneur, business owner, I prefer to be personally mentored, obviously, by established small business or other business owners like Quincy that I brought to the Yes program, Quincy Branch, just because obviously selfishly, I want people like him to be a mentor to me. So
exactly.
I guess both, kind of. Yeah.
I'll take it.
We'll take it. I think that's a good answer, because in those times you can't say both, right? Because there's a difference with working with and then us who are we're growing. We want who we want to be mentored or be around. So that's great.
You can gain something from both sides.
You can gain from both. Exactly. Yeah.
And I've had experience with both, right? Like Bill Marion, Purdue Marion, was one of my best mentors, right? He worked with Senator Reid. He has his own PR firm, him and Lynn Purdue is Purdue Marion. But I love working with those guys, like as partners. Right. Because there's different sides of it, right? We have partnerships. We have partnership with MYS, with Maisha Boyce, who's running the Super Bowl for the Business Connect program, still running with the NFL, helping businesses in Louisiana right now. She came to us a few years ago. Is a joy to work with her and Laura. Laura does all our graphics and things like that. So enjoy those people. Right. But I really do feel a swell of pride and accomplishment when I see businesses like yours come up, when I see evolution of the young people out of the Yes program. That is something that you just can't emulate that feeling. Right. That feeling of like, wow, look at them,
I thought you were going to look at me, but you don't consider me to be young, I
guess. well, they said young. You kind of like, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Look at this guy.
I told. He
said, right, Shaw? He said, swell of pride, all of that. I thought he was going to drop a little tear for me and then grab my hand, and he was just like, from the Yes program.
I'm going to tell you what this is why I love what Sumnu does. Right. Because the evolution out of Sumnu is a mindset. And this is what my father wanted. My father, we come from a family of people who destroyed communities. Ooh. I'm talking about, our graduation was to Rikers or Spofford. Rikers Island is the prison in New York City that is notorious, right? And Spofford was the kind of the juvenile facility. These places were where our family aspired to be. Right. What I love now is our family aspires to do Phenomenal Mama. Yeah. Right. True Life Passion. What's your brother's landscaping? Big Scapes Landscaping. Right. So when you think about where we've come from a generation later, that's what the magic is, right? That's the blessing of going from a company of destruction to one that builds now of construction. Now we build businesses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
that's powerful.
That was a powerful business.
That's another reel.
Another reel, and one of the best business on the fly. Y'all set the standard for business on the fly for this season for sure.
Definitely.
Because let's kick on to the because we definitely we're getting ready to close soon with our last segments because we got to get you out of here, man. But this segment is the legend. So remember on the map we had that little box, the legend. And it's those little details you got to pay attention to so you can know how to navigate the map, navigate the blueprint, right? So the base of it we know is faith, right? And you have the doula, you got your other sons and your daughters with their businesses. Now let's talk about Boss and Yes.
Yes.
Because y'all, not only did you do it for your family, you were trying to do it for you did do
community.
it, not tried.
Right.
Did do it for the community.
Yeah.
Right? That's why you got this gentleman sitting here, plethora of other businesses who are flourishing. So what was the struggle? I ain't going to ask it because I don't want that to sound negative. No, I'm going to ask it. Forget it. What is the challenge, right, that between Boss and Yes that you saw with people when it came? Because you had Boss who were for the adults and then Yes who were more seasoned.
Yeah.
I don't want to compare which one was more successful, but what I want to see, because we did see a difference.
Right.
Right. So what were those intricate details that was slightly different from Boss and Yes to where you saw people who were successful?
Before we start that, can we explain to the people what Boss and Yes are?
Yeah.
So Boss was business, opportunity, sustainable, and success.
Yes.
Success and sustainability. It was designed to help companies that were either on the historic West Side or had aspirations to be on the historic West Side. And it was designed to help them in those areas. Success is measured by how you make an impact, not money. Because once again, I think that if people want to call us minority businesses, small businesses, urban businesses, we work different. We have a different measure of success. It's not necessarily you becoming a billionaire, but how many people you impact.
Exactly.
And I think that Boss was designed for even like in the case of when I talk about some people who may be 50-something years old, but they've never run a business because everybody assumes that everybody knows how to run a business. There are no parameters. There's no test of how. So we were catching people wherever they were.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whether you
with
were
Boss,
whether you were a startup, you've been failing for the last 10 years, last 15 years. We were trying to fill in the gaps.
And the sustainability piece was because it was right after COVID. Yeah. So we were trying to help people establish that sustainability piece with Boss. Like that was the biggest, most important part of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then with Yes, it was designed to, like we were talking about before we started filming, like introduce the concept and the idea and the foundational elements and all the important key parts of what entrepreneurship is to the youth and help them navigate a pathway that works best for them. Because another component of it was workforce in the original plan and in that plan as well, because we understood, and I remember I talked to the class about this, probably the first workshop or the second, that on social media right now, there is a big push, which makes me happy that there's a big push for entrepreneurship, business ownership. But we needed to make sure that we were showing them the right way and not that quick way on social media that you see, because it can be misconstrued easily and thinking that it's easy. Like we were talking about before filming, like some people don't realize how hard it is until they're in it.
Exactly.
And we were trying to help the youth see that before they dive deep, take a deep dive into it.
It came from President Obama actually put it into law.
Okay.
Workforce Investment Opportunity Act.
Yeah.
Youth programs are supposed to have a component of entrepreneurship to teach youth how to be great employees as well as possibly great employers. That's true, because that's a big key. That's a big part of it. And we're big advocates for finding the right pathway that works, right? I think like our generation, Sean, we're probably byproducts of like
a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Like they wanted everybody to go to college. And I'm like,
that was a big push.
I felt so pressured, like sophomore year, junior year, where I'm like, I get a little antsy and, I could barely sit still in the classroom. I did well because I had to work hard and, not come home with C's or B's really. But I knew I wasn't going to college. And so I was, grateful that I came from a family that believed in, you starting your career through by way of the military. Or I loved when Sumnu worked with a lot of the local construction firms, seeing those trades, like introduce our youth into those specific trades because everybody's not going to go to college. So I think that was also a big part of what we were trying to communicate through the YES program. And
honestly, you both, by explaining BOSS and YES, I think that was the different factor because you had BOSS had people who already existed, staying in seasons, but needed things to work on, probably didn't want to change their foundation. And then YES, it was complete introductory. Right. But we didn't close it out to people who already had their business. But they were more open to. So do you think because those two approaches, even though we gave the same benefits as far as like get your licensures, all that. The approaches were different. Do you think that's why it was a different outcome? Yeah, the approach was different. The intention and the design, like Shaundell was saying earlier, was completely different. Right. And I think the outcomes were different, but we had a lot of success stories with both.
I think the big difference
I think you know what, that's true.
I think the big difference even for BOSS was those people needed to be connected. A lot of people are not connected to the Nevada ecosystem. If you're working outside of the ecosystem, you're actually not really going to be successful in business. There are some pieces that Nevada has, like healthcare, education, economic development, construction. You have all these different healthcare. You got all these different places that you got to plug in that works for Nevada. Right. But if you're working outside of that space, or like now they're trying to introduce the film industry, so maybe people now get into the film industry. But people don't even know we have an ecosystem. So with BOSS, we were trying to really introduce them to the ecosystem. Gotcha. Because everybody's asking, how are you successful and sustainable? Because you can hit luck for a while, right? I remember when I started, anybody could be a real estate agent. Back in 2006 and make money. I mean, I had people who would just get out of high school and become a real estate agent and make $1 million. But how do you sustain being a millionaire? It's easy to become a millionaire. It's much harder to sustain that $1 million status. That's the difference. Right.
Yeah. And build upon that status. Yeah. That's hard.
So what would be the piece of advice you would give to our audience as they're looking to either step into leaving workforce to get into entrepreneurship or even thinking about marketing? Because we have students here who they're in business marketing, they're in business and don't understand that important piece of marketing. What would be the piece of advice you give them, community and students, to be successful in their venture?
For the business part, I would say, please work on the foundation before you launch. Like, you're just going to go back and repeat some of those steps. So that's why we rebuilt our business on the foundation of the 12 steps of marketing. It's not just marketing. Within there, we do SWOT analysis. Within there, we talk about vision, mission, and your philosophy or your company values. We talk about competitor analysis. And a lot of this stuff you don't have to do by yourself as entrepreneurs or business owners, which you guys learned in the YES program. Go to SCORE and get a mentor. Go to SBA and seek funding. You don't have to go at it alone ever. You don't have to work in silos, but please build on the foundation because you're going to revisit that at some point or another. So working on the foundation before you, quote unquote, open your doors, whether you have a brick or mortar or not, working on the foundation, I would say that for the business. And also another thing that we introduced day one of YES was exploring the entrepreneurial mindset and understanding that you need the manager, you need the technician, and you need the visionary. Because while Shaundell's a visionary in our business, I was more of the managerial and then grew to be a visionary. And that's why I was, confident enough to start my own business with Phenomenal Mama, but I didn't start there. And like you said, you got to learn to be a great employee first before you become an entrepreneur or an employer. Right. So that on the business side. And then for marketing, I would say, from what I've learned in the last 13, 14 years is don't become enamored with the tools. So like, again, we were talking about earlier, like social media or word of mouth. The tools are always going to change. They're always going to be evolving, but just don't become enamored with them and be more invested in the process of marketing.
For sure.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing, if you're going into business, value. You got to provide value to someone in order for them to pay you. And the more value you give them, the more they're going to pay you.
Right.
Because if you're just sitting there thinking somebody's like really excited about you making money, that's false. That's fake, right? You have to provide value. When you have a shirt, that shirt has to make somebody feel a certain way. Exactly. It's all about how people feel. Yeah. And so you got to think about it from an entrepreneurial standpoint. How do I make people feel good? And how do you solve a problem?
Make meaning.
You got to solve a problem. If you're just opening a business just because you want to see your name in lights, that is going to be something that you're going to be frustrated with, and you will be depressed. Because that's not what entrepreneurship is. Always think about how you're solving a problem and how you're providing value. From the marketing perspective, it goes back to it, the 12 steps of marketing, which is like my book on Amazon. I know that marketing has a profound impact on people in the way they act. In the 1980s, right? The cigarettes. When we advertised cigarettes, it looked cool back in the day, right? So people were impacted by that. Bam, they wanted that. People, even in hip hop, when Jordans first came out, it was powerful because of the way we communicated it. So marketing makes you feel a certain way. Yeah, and it's not just the tool like social media. You could have the best social media platforms, all these listeners and followers and all of that. But if they don't buy your product or service, or they don't know who you are, and more importantly, what you can do for them, it's pointless because you're just talking into dead air. Right. So it's like I walked into the stadium yesterday and at Allegiant Stadium, and people knew me from my LinkedIn profile. I never even met them.
He's lit on LinkedIn. Okay,
listen. But and also know the tool you can work. Like I'm not a huge, like everybody's like, oh, how's your Instagram? I said, well, it's like, Right. They're like, well, you need to be more on Instagram. I love when people come up and try to tell me how to market. That's the funniest thing in the world. And they say, you should be doing this and you should be doing that. I said, how do you know?
Yeah.
I know what I should be doing. Yeah. In my world, LinkedIn is like the bomb, right? I've been on golf courses and people walked up to me, man, I know
everywhere we go, there's at least 2 or 3 people like, I know you from LinkedIn. I'm like, what?
Yeah, man. But that's because LinkedIn is the space
for you.
that I need to be in. Right. You need to understand in marketing where you need to be. Right. You don't have to be everywhere because we talked about that earlier.
Talked about that too.
You don't have to be everywhere. You got to be in the right places to talk to the right people to grow your business. And that's what people don't realize. You don't have to, I don't care how many shares and likes I get. I care about how many people actually respond and then how they take action on whatever it is we're trying to do.
And Shaundell and I talk about all the time, like people have to know, like, and trust you still. Yes. I mean, one of my examples that I always give him is Steve Harvey. I'm like, why are people taking relationship advice from him when he's been divorced a couple of times? When he wrote the book, he had the movie. For me, when I was introduced to Steve Harvey, he was a comedian wearing oversized suits with a high top. And then the newer generation or a newer, I guess, batch of people, they will buy anything that he puts out there because they know, like, and trust him. And now, people have established a different type of relationship with him.
I love the new brand of Flavor Flav. That is so funny.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
I know Flav, right? Yeah. So it's like, wait a minute, we go from fight to power. Yeah,
him
boy,
and
the
Snoop.
big clocks. And him and Snoop too. I met Snoop when he was a teenager back in LBC, right? Yeah. So it's so funny how they've evolved their brands and people respond to them. But it's a feeling of emotion.
Know, like, and trust. Yeah.
And know, like, and trust is a big deal. And I always say it's about the with them, right? What's in it for me? People who sit on the other side going, what do I get out of this?
Exactly.
A young lady came up to me the other day at the Urban Chamber Awards, and she's like, I follow you all the time. Your advice is so cool. And I'm sitting back in my mind going, dang, what advice did I give her?
Oh, please. Every day.
So
every day. Sean knows. You see the long captions.
I didn't see them joints. I be loving them. That's
people do miss the walking videos. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I be on point, man.
Yeah.
They be on point.
Yeah.
No, thank y'all so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
This was
so much
phenomenal.
fun.
Great start to the season. And we want to make sure we send y'all off right. So we want to go ahead and transition to the happy hour.
Yeah.
That's for y'all right there.
All right.
So the happy hour is a segment where
Uncle Nearest. Oh,
no.
Still ginger ale.
Ginger ale.
Still ginger ale.
Ginger ale lemonade. Ginger ale lemonade, please. We do not want to get in trouble. So this is the happy hour segment where we toast to success.
Right.
So we go each and say what's going on, one good thing that's going on great in our lives, right? So we'll start with Cordon and we'll work this way. So what's something going on great with you?
Something great that's going on for me is I just launched yesterday our first drop. The site is live now. CozyStudios.com, KOZY Studios.com. And also, I just want to say thank you to all of you, because without the program that, you guys put together, I probably wouldn't have even started. I got my LLC because of that program. So I definitely forever grateful to you guys, and thank you for sure.
Well, thank you for being a part of it. Yeah.
Yes.
you. Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, for me right now, I am
Do
so
not say retirement.
blessed. I was going to say that.
He was. He's literally, it's not happening.
No, it's not happening. It's not happening. But you know what? In all honesty, me and Ricky, we were talking about this in the booth last night. Could we ever imagine a young man from the West Side and a young man from Bed-Stuy, do or die, sitting up in a suite at Allegiant Stadium?
That's
right?
powerful.
And he was with his kids. I was with my son. You just can't imagine how that feels when you've come out of these neighborhoods and you're like, man, there was so much despair. The 80s, I want people to understand it was Armageddon.
Yeah.
It was crack. It was AIDS. It was worse than the pandemic. I could tell you honestly, for us,
Right.
it was worse. Gang violence. It was just everything. And we think about now where God has brought us and where we are. So today I celebrate those things and all the things, even at the Democratic convention. I'm not getting politics. I don't talk politics. I talk policy.
Policy. Yeah.
That feeling of hope, evolution, growth, joy. That's what I feel right now.
That's beautiful.
For me, I am in as you mentioned a couple of times, I started the Phenomenal Mama.
Yeah.
And I'm in a season of discovery, but I'm embracing it because what I set out originally to do with my doula support services firm was help families, help moms prepare. And I'm still doing that. But now I'm noticing that I'm being sought after in that space to be more of a leader.
Stop being humble and tell them.
More of a mentor.
Stop being humble and
Tell them what you got, dog.
I don't know.
What are you now? What are you now in Southern Nevada?
Oh, I am. Yes. So the Doula Co-op of Nevada is a nonprofit organization that is not only supporting families, but supporting doulas. And I am now the president of the Southern Nevada chapter.
Come on now.
So as much as I wanted to be in my little corner doing my own business, that just wasn't my calling. So, yeah. That's where I'm at currently. Yeah.
That's super cool. What about you?
For me, in October, I will be defending my dissertation proposal.
Yay.
And then the second thing is King of Jewels, my nonprofit, so I completely let go of the unconquerable to fully focus on my first business, which is King of Jewels.
Yeah.
Because we talk about impact. What are you solving? And for years, I've been mentoring you. I've been mentoring you since you was 7th grade.
Yeah.
Right? But I figured, with going in this doctorate program, it helped me figure out that, okay, this is where I need to be. Because mentorship was always about going to post-secondary. Mm-hmm. But the stuff that we're doing with King of Jewels, we got them on workforce connection, workforce development, leadership development, and entrepreneurship. We do it all. And we're making mentorship look different. And that's where I'm like, okay, that's where I need to be. Because we have a big goal that we're going to. So where we hit on all the aspects, education, workforce, and entrepreneurship. So engage, empower, you know what I'm saying?
Nice.
I like it.
So,
I love it.
Yeah.
So let's take a toast to all those things, y'all.
Toast to something
Toast to
new.
y'all. Something new.
I'm doing something new.
Something new. I love that.
Yeah, I can
is good.
It's not Uncle Nearest.
Please tell people look at that camera. Tell people where they can find you, please.
Well, if you're looking for to do something new, go to www.sumnewmarketing.com or on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter a little bit, or X if you want to call it that. You can find Some New Marketing.
SUMNU.
SUMNU. Right.
Yes. And then you can find me on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook as The Phenomenal Mama. And that's it. Yeah.
So thank you both so much again for coming on our show. It's been phenomenal to have you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Business Information Buffet Podcast, also known as the BIB Podcast, where everybody eats. We are your hosts, Sean Torrey and Mr. Cordon Allen. We will see you next time. Stay up, stay blessed. We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Peace.